When you say interns, I think one thing, fellowship. Ben and Ronnie they were guys that you wanted to hang out with.
They're just such great guys and great role models. Just fellowship with them was amazing. But I mean, like, come around fall, they're a dying breed. They have to go back to where they flew from. The interns were great.
The interns were a big part of the summer for me. They really taught me a lot about my faith and just I had a great time playing sports with them.
Nope. No. They never said hi to me Wednesday nights. Didn't even shake my hand.
Memories with the interns they're kind of like Lay's chips, actually. I mean, you can't just have one. I mean, it's the whole bag, really. So when you say favorite memory, it's got to be all of it. It's got to be the summer, that giant bag of Lay's chips that we shared.
Memories with the interns, they're about a dime a dozen. You can get about 12, maybe a baker's dozen. One time, I didn't really know how to play t-ball. Ronnie came over and directed me on how to hit the ball from behind, just like holding the bat. And he would use his hips to guide mine. One time I was just going through a rough time, and it was just after a Wednesday night service, and I asked Ben to come up to me and just pray with me and stuff, and he said no.
Sunday morning, during service, Daniel was talking about something with Jesus, something like that. Anyway, Ronnie leaned over to me during service, and he gave me some advice on League of Legends, and it was extraordinary advice. Now, at the beginning of the summer, wasn't very good at the game, enjoyed it, but wasn't good at it, but now I'm ranked, and I'm just blessed at this point. That was great advice.
He said no. No, that was great to hear. I needed an answer to my problems, and no is the answer. No addictions, no doing bad things, no conforming to society, nothing, just no.
And I'm ranked. And it's funny because I didn't know where Ronnie was going with that at first, but then you realize that once you get ranked, once you get to where you want it to be, life is so much more than League of Legends. Ronnie just showed me how, like, Christ is really all that matters. And once you're ranked in League of Legends, you realize that you never even really cared about it that much. It's all about Jesus. And so that was just basically the most inspirational thing that an intern said to me. They are doing that, aren't they?
Yeah, when I found out that the interns were leaving because of their death disease, you know what, just for God so loved the world that when he gave his only son, that whosoever believe in him, they shall not perish, but they shall have everlasting life. And you know what, the interns believed in Jesus. They're not gonna go anywhere. They're already living. They're gonna be right here.
It's tough. Two of the guys that you spent most of your summer with, they're dying from a disease of death. Like, they're a dying breed. Interns, they're here for a season and then gone. Like that, the wind just kind of carries them away. Ronnie had a lot of talents, obviously, but the one that surprised the entire youth group really was his skill at underwater basket weaving. He's just incredible. The speed at which he can move the twigs to form that basket and all the time underwater, incredible. I mean, I'd never seen a guy weave underwater with that speed.
A lot of people think that Adidas is pronounced Adidas, when actually it's Adidas for Adolf Dassler, the inventor of Adidas.
I think there's a parable of Jesus that answers this question very well. A man had two sons. The younger son went to his father and said, "Dad, I'm tired of waiting for you to die, and I want the family money." So his father gave him the family money, and he ran off to Nineveh to preach the gospel to a people that needed to repent. They repented, and so God didn't destroy the city. And then he ran off and found the Ten Commandments, which he then took to Egypt to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt during the Exodus. And as they were going out during the Exodus, they came across the Garden of Eden.
Jesus.
After the Israelites got to the Garden of Eden, they discovered a large golden calf, which they began to worship by sending letters known as epistles to the various churches around the area. The churches received these letters, each of them containing manna that they then consumed, and then...
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that who shall ever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
And so that's how Ruth met Esther. And the two of them then began to start the women's rights movement, which then carried into modern day. This is also when the iPhone was invented, and it was about the same time that Babylon originally conquered the northern kingdom of Israel.
For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn it, but to save the world through him.
So anyway, the younger son, eventually, as he's trying to get back home from his little expedition, ends up on a bus, and he walks through the bus, looks for a seat. He doesn't really see a seat at first, and then he walks to the very back of the bus, and he sees a woman sitting there, and he asks her to give up her seat. And she looks straight at him and says, "No." And that was Rosa Parks. And she said no. And I'm Ben Martin. And I say no.
So, all in all, I mean, Jesus.
Ben and Ronnie, one word, awful. If Ben and Ronnie were never to come back, I wouldn't mind that much, honestly.
Honestly, Ben was probably the biggest mooch I've ever met. He never ordered food the entire summer. He just stole other people's food.
Ronnie smells like poop, and Ben's hair looks like popcorn.
Ben and Ronnie? Doesn't ring a bell.
Wait, Ben and Ronnie were interns? That's weird. Judging on their facial hair, I thought they were junior hires.
This one time I saw Ben wearing a llama.
I honestly can't think of anything. We hung out all summer and it's like, just never ending, just boring.
Honestly,